Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada.
This program is an interfaith program. What you will experience today is an awareness, greater understanding, new knowledge, and confirmation of what you already know.
Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye.
But this is the program for ourselves, to know something for ourselves. The name of the program is Mystery of Cosmos. Why is the mystery? Mystery, something that we don't know, is like unknown to them. And there is also one more mystery in our life. Can you tell me what is the second mystery? What is the second mystery that till today we don't know? Death. Till today we don't know about the death. So same thing. But here we are slowly trying to find out what is the mystery of the cosmos.
Om Suryaya Namaha.
Om Suryaya Namaha.
Om Chandraya Namaha.
Om Chandraya Namaha.
Om Mangalaya Namaha.
Om Mangalaya Namaha.
And in Gita, Krishna says, Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitra miha vidyate. There is nothing purer than the knowledge. And in the Veda it is written, Jnana devatu kaivalyam. Knowledge alone can liberate.
Once loud Jai Shri Shanideva, because the whole concept of this whole Navagraha and the Navagraha temple has been celestial around Shri Shanideva. Rupa, who had a dream, and that's how this emerged, the Saneeswara temple emerged. And from the emergence of the Saneeswara temple, the entire concept of Navagraha Devasthanam came into existence. And we have a temple in New Hyde Park, as Sunitaji was saying. And I take this opportunity, I'm a founder member, Shri Shanmugam from the temple, and I take this opportunity to welcome you all to this unique program.
Om Chandraya Namaha.
It is clear now that when it comes to the environment, we only get what we put in and we reap what we sow. Another way to put that is simply karma. We hear headlines on an almost daily basis about the threat of global warming and other negative effects of pollution on our planet, as well as the need to reduce and remove pollutants from our atmosphere, oceans, rivers, lakes, and parklands.
As Assemblyman David Weprin, you are such an integral part of Indian American community, and your presence at Mystery of Cosmos event added to the joy and the expansion of awareness about how we should be treating our natural resources. And what do you see these kind of events like Mystery of Cosmos as is being organized can play some role in making us more aware about our role in the big scheme of things?
Yeah, I want to thank the temple for bringing us together on such an important issue. The environment affects everyone. The cosmos affect everyone, and it's so important that we be environmentally sound, and we do things to protect the environment. In Albany, I've been involved in legislation to eliminate the use of single-use plastic straws because they're not biodegradable, and they hurt the water life in our oceans and lakes. So we're fighting that. We're fighting against fracking and the damage that fracking can do to our ground and our environment. When they're digging, and so many other things. We have to be more environmentally conscious. And if events like this being put on by the temple really make us all more aware. And when it comes to the Indian American community, I'm so proud of that representation that I represent, such a large Indian American population who have contributed so much to the culture of New York City and New York State, the economy of New York City and New York State, and now I found out the environment of New York City and New York State.
Thank you very much. Last question. In New York, we have very free use of plastic bags, and I believe we are going to have some change in that direction because it is not biodegradable.
Correct. We're also working on legislation to eliminate the use of plastic bags. I don't think New York City residents should be paying for that, but that's something the government should be doing to eliminate plastic bags because, of course, they're not biodegradable and cannot be disposed of and cause damage to the environment.
Assemblyman David Weprin, such a pleasure talking to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Scientists will tell us that the Earth, they estimate, is about 4.5 billion years old, and it's still cooling off. So it tells us that we don't always, but we should surrender to a higher authority, that it's so much greater than what we are, but that we are here on this planet together and that we have to live. And David talked about some of the things that the New York State Legislature has done or is going to do in the coming months to protect this planet. It's the only one we have. We haven't figured out how to live on Mars yet, and we haven't figured out how to travel beyond our solar system. So far, 2 spacecraft have made it beyond the solar system into what is ever out there. And maybe in coming years, some of the younger people might get to explore that. Not me. I'm 59 next month, hopefully, God willing. But in my lifetime, we landed on the moon.
Councilman Barry Grudenchik, it was delightful experience to hear you at the event Mystery of Cosmos, and talking about cosmos, talking about our environment. As a politician, how do you feel we are treating our Earth as New Yorkers here?
Well, I think New Yorkers do fairly well. Most people don't know this, but New Yorkers per capita use less energy than anywhere else in the United States. That's because we take mass transit. We take a lot of mass transit. But we can always be doing better. So we're talking about introducing electric school buses, introducing electric buses on the street, the MTA buses. Those kind of things can go a long way. Cutting down on the number of cars used. It's harder out here in Eastern Queens, but I'm always working with my colleagues such as David Weprin and Senator Comrie and new Senator Lieu to try to come up with better mass transit options for people. These are things that we have to do. We've recently started in New York City, the last couple of years now, composting what's compost so it doesn't go to a landfill. And we're always looking, I know I've worked with the Sanitation Commissioner Garcia, always looking for ways to cut down on the waste stream. So these are things that we can do, and everybody can help the environment. When you're brushing your teeth, shut the water off. Only use the water when you have to. Take a shorter shower. Wear a sweater inside, and instead of keeping the thermostat at 70 or 72, take it down a few degrees, and you will. Every little bit helps. We're all here together, and if there is environmental catastrophe, it won't discriminate. It will affect every single person and every single animal and every being on the planet Earth. So we have got to be better guardians of Mother Earth.
Very briefly, Mystery of Cosmos, this kind of event, do you see this playing an important role in increasing awareness about our sensitivity towards environment?
Absolutely. We need all of us. We hopefully our young people are learning, and I know that goes on here at PS 188 5 days a week. But everybody needs to be involved, and this kind of program only helps to let us appreciate what we have and to be better guardians of what it is. And so we're here in Eastern Queens. We have great parks. We have Cunningham Park. We have Alley Pond Park. We have the Vanderbilt Motor Parkway to walk. So there are ways to appreciate nature right here in New York City. You don't have to go very far.
Absolutely.
We've got to keep that going, though. We've got to do our part.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
What does Surya Namaskar, what are the benefits of Surya Namaskar? One, it offers us the opportunity to give the salutation to the god Surya. And there is a solar plexus near our navel. And that solar plexus is supposed to be enlarged, enhanced, and awakened. And that is the one which you could do with the Surya
Planning
Namaskar.
this whole program, Mystery of the Cosmos, it's not a one-time program. We are planning to have this as an ongoing program with more time spent on question, answer, and a dialogue. And we are planning to put a Vedic scholar and a scientist together to discuss on this matter. Hopefully that will bring up an understanding of what we are planning to do.
I'm going to chant few shlokas from Veda Vyasa Virachita Navagraha Shloka. If Veda Vyasa, who put in the entire set of Vedas, he collated the Vedas. I wouldn't say he wrote the Vedas, he collated the Vedas. If he has written shloka on Navagraha, that should be super important. So I chant and probably you can help repeat, yeah? For the sun, Japa Kusuma Sankasham. You can repeat. Japa Kusuma Sankasham Kashyapeyam Mahadyutim Tamorim Sarva Papagnam Pranatosmi Divakaram.
Tosmi Divakaram.
When someone from America decides to go to India, even Indian American kids, when they decide to go back and do something in India, their parents are not comfortable. So in your case, the whole cultural upbringing was different. And what was the reaction of or response from your parents? Also, when you came back, did they find that you are kind of not as in sync with them as they would expect you to be?
Yes, they. If in English there was a term for ulta pulta, it would be what it was. Everything was like upside down, and but it's like my parents had a mantra that went like this: "Where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong?" But eventually they adjusted, and they accepted what I did. After all, I did finish my PhD. I did get a job, and I studied in many years with pundits in different parts of India. I know that this is not a path that that very few Indian kids who grew up in the U.S. they will never take a path like this. But for whatever reason, I ended up doing that, and it turned out, I think, for the best, at least for me. And I can say that if a person really has a desire for knowledge, some kind of jnana, vidya, sankalpa, if they make a kind of a firm desire to gain knowledge, then there's nothing that can stop them.
Talking about knowledge, talking about years when you were studying in India, and there is one side which is visible as our physical body, and there's another side which is subtle or which you cannot see by these naked eyes. Same way, the experiences that you were having in India while studying there, in the social setting or your food habits, etc., are one side. There's another side. Internally, was there something that you feel profoundly was experienced by you that you may feel like sharing?
Well, I was very fortunate that both my personal and professional interests really managed to come together in India, because I was involved with various teachers there, various gurus. I'm almost like Dattatreya with Chovis Guru, with 24 teachers like that, and a couple of them I showed up in my presentation a few minutes ago. And but yes, I was very interested in the spiritual side of things, and I definitely pursued that. I could never be a very great I could never be a great ashramite because I won't take orders very easily. But it was definitely a positive experience for me to travel around and go to these very powerful spiritual centers and study with these great pundits and Vaidikas, and at these amazing learning centers in Pune and in Braj and Chennai and Mysore, in Uttarkashi, places like this where I've spent a lot of time. So yes, I did learn a lot, and I was happy to take the darshan of so many of these great saints in India over the last 40 years. Yes.
Okay, now we come back with you to America. So you finished your study there, you came back here, you did your PhD. And while you are doing your PhD here in America, the academic environment, of course, is different than what it was in India. And many times we come across references where we hear that Western scholars do not perceive the essence of Indian knowledge or Hindu Sanatan wisdom, and they end up misinterpreting it here and there. What has been your experience on that front?
My experience is that that's an overstatement, that a lot of Westerners who spent lots of years in India and come back to study here, like all of my teachers at Pennsylvania, all of them had tremendous respect for Indian knowledge system and ways. I was lucky to be at Penn, where we had these wonderful people who had studied for a long time in India and had great regard for the system, and really taught from the traditional point of view of looking at the texts, looking at the manuscripts. And I mean, I spent a lot of time, I spent some time in Mysore in a Patashala, in a Veda Patashala, there memorizing Vedas. And of course I was unique in doing that. Not many people, not many Westerners would ever do such a thing, but I always had, you know, if there was ever one of my Western teachers at Pennsylvania, he always said, if you have a question, if you have a doubt, what the pundit says is right, more than the scholar. Then I accepted that, and I believe that that's true. Yes.
And while you were doing your PhD, you were clear that you would like to become a professor, or was there something about your sadhana that you wanted to pursue?
I never thought about what I was going to do afterwards. I just did what the Bhagavad Gita said in chapter 2. You know, I had the adhikara for the knowledge, for the learning. I never thought even a single time what I would do after. I thought if I do what I want and I do it right, then Bhagwan will grace me somehow, and maybe I will survive in the world doing it. But you cannot think about anything except your you know, what comes to you. If you think about the future all the time, the present is going to be compromised.
So let me not think about the future, but yet I started thinking about whether you are finding this conversation interesting, whether there is something that you would love sharing more than where my questions are leading you. So that was my parallel thought pattern, which was sort of activated, and keeping that and bringing myself to the one pointedness with you. With the base of your exposure or understanding of Sanskrit, of Indian system of knowledge, when you were interacting with your friends who grew up here in America, and was there anything which you felt that the way they are enjoying, you now are not able to enjoy, and they perceive you in a way which is keeping you in a different bracket, and there is some sort of, if not wall, at least a kind of a distance which cannot be crossed?
Absolutely, you're right about that. But I was, you know, as I said, I mean, I love Sanskrit knowledge. I love studying with the pundits. I love my gurus. I love the Vedas. I had great experience in all of this. So if my friends looked at me as if I was from some alien planet like Mars, which they did, I mean, after I got back from all those years in India, and they look at me and they say, "Oh, what planet are you from?" And then I say, "Forget it," you know. But I have enough friends who can see my way, or who can I have enough common ground with in various spiritual and Vaidika and different kinds of spiritual worlds here that I don't feel like I've lost anything. I mean, if people don't want to hang out with me because I've been in India for 20 years, then that's okay. I mean, I have enough to do with just reading my Vedas and doing my writing and doing my Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. I'm happy enough. I'm happy doing that. I don't need to be around people who don't want to be around me.
And talk to me a little bit about having Satyamev Jayate on your business card, and also let me share with our viewers that you have one permanent abode at Uttar Kashi. How that came about?
Well, I've been working for a long time, for more than 10, 15 years on Mahabharata, and translating the last 5 Padavans for an American publisher, University of Chicago Press. And I decided I needed to shift away from Pune, from Braj, from wherever else I was staying, and work on Mahabharata in Mahabharata country, which happened to be the Himalaya, because there are 1,000 references to Himalaya in Mahabharata. So I went up there, I got myself a kutir, and I eventually got another kutir on the Ganga near Uttarkashi, because I had some friends there, and did my translations, and finally I bought some property. It's a trust I started, bought some property about 12, 15 kilometers up a mountainside near Uttarkashi, and built a house there. And it has turned out to be an amazing, beautiful place.
So here I'm sitting with a sage who has come from Himalayas. And Smithji, before we let you go, talk to me a little bit about the experience of translating Mahabharata. And indeed, Srimad Bhagavad is a jewel in Mahabharata. So relevance of that dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna for us.
Yeah, well, the Mahabharata is, as you know, there are many Hindu families who will refuse to even have a copy of Mahabharata in their house, because it is brother against brother, whereas they will all have Ramayana because it's brothers coming together instead of brothers splitting apart. So working on Mahabharata is always a little bit of a challenge, because everybody dies in the end. And but still, right now I'm involved in a really interesting project in Himalaya. There is one manuscript of a Garhwali language Mahabharata, in which I and a couple of others, in fact I was just working on it for a few weeks in Germany with my teacher from Srinagar in Garhwal, and a couple of other people, of translating this. And it's very, very much, it's very, in a way it's quite different from the Sanskrit Mahabharata. And so the way that the Mahabharata, we have the Sanskrit text, but we have like 100 other Mahabharats all over India, in which there's a lot that's included from the Bhagavad there. So the life of Krishna, the death of Kansa. There's just a lot that's quite striking and different, and it's very elevating. It's really a beautiful experience to sit there with this only one, and there's nobody left.
Jai Jai Shri Shanideva Bhaktana Hitakari सूरज के तुम पुत्र छाया महतारी श्याम अंग वक्र दृष्टि चतुर्भुजधारी नीलांबर धरनाथ गज के असवारी क्रीट मुकुट शिशराजत दीप्त है नीलारी मुक्तन की माला गले शोभित बलिहारी मोदक मिष्टान पान षडत है सुपारी लोगातिले तेल उड़त महिषी अति प्यारी देवदनुज ऋषि मुनि सुमिरत नर नारी सभी जन धरत ध्यान शरण है तुम्हारी। जय जय श्री शनिदेवा भक्तन हितकारी।